Hi everybody! Welcome to the week 1 video for the month of May. In this video, you'll find insight and guidance around the astrology of the week. This first weekly video covers May 1st, which is a Sunday, through May 7th, Saturday. And this week's themes include the fact that Venus is changing signs and changes dignity, so there'll be major shifts around topics in our Libra and Taurus houses or placements, and maybe themes around desire and pleasure, and maybe priority shifts around harmony and beauty. Also, Uranus conjoins the Sun, going through its death and rebirth, having its cazimi, so there may be some unexpected happenings or surprises, or maybe dealing with some unique topics. And we have a bunch of sextiles to assist us with these shifts coming up this week. So on May 2nd, we have Venus entering Aries. We get quite the dignity change for Venus when she changes signs. Venus goes from the soft, replenishing, and exalted waters of Pisces and enters the heavy metal mosh pit detriment of Aries. Venus moving into a Mars-ruled sign asks us to engage our warrior princess energy. Do y'all remember Xena, warrior princess? Let us embrace our inner Xena, warrior princess. Venus in Aries is about loving things fiercely, loudly, rashly. With Venus in Aries, our creative direction can go against the norm, which can be fun. Bringing about art made differently or art about unique subjects. Venus in Aries is a good time to get tattooed, for example, depending on your chart, of course. But due to Mars ruling needles and sharp things and Venus ruling art and beauty, they blend together pretty well for tattoos. It's also a time that we might be feeling stronger about relationships based on truth and authenticity. Authenticity being more of a priority in general with Venus in Aries. It's also a time where we might feel more confrontational or more straightforward in our communications or our relationships. We may be feeling more impatient, more aggressive, like I said, more confrontational than usual. A good time to get it all out in the open. But Mars would call this real, not aggressive. It's just real and authentic and raw. Also, acting on desires can come a lot easier, especially the desires that we would normally compromise for another person. Venus in Aries is the all about me time, where the opposite is true for Libra, the sign of the other, or must consider the other to understand themselves better. Aries doesn't need that. It's all about me with Aries. So it's a good time to refocus on what you truly want, not necessarily what's right in the rules of your head or the made-up rules you have. It's a good time to get real with your desires. It's also a time where enjoying martial things might come a bit easier, like active sports, martial arts, like literally knife throwing. I would say it's also a good time to try new recipes or cooking. Mars chops things up and slices it up and cooks it, and Venus makes sure it is yummy. So that's a good time to try new recipes also. What's interesting about this particular Venus in Aries is that its dispositor is Mars in Pisces. So Venus in Aries could be edgier with Mars in Aries as well. But Mars is in Pisces, and that's the host of the dignity change. So the authenticity that Venus is bringing to the table is shown through Mars in Pisces. This brings in themes around ethics and inspiration and spirituality, or the bigger picture as a whole. So Mars in a Jupiter-ruled sign is fighting for what's righteous, authentic, ethical, spiritual, moral, correct, compassionate. Fighting to expand or make things bigger and more inclusive. Standing up for what you feel is more spiritually or morally authentic to you and your truth. We need to see the bigger picture in order to see the truth. That's Mars in Pisces helps us with that. And Venus in Aries, ruled by Mars in Pisces, is here to help us do that. So when Venus moves into Aries, this is a good time to or an interesting time to be social or go to concerts, relate to other unique people or in a unique way. If you still don't want to go out with all the people, maybe you're being more social in a different way. It's a fun time to be competitive, a fun time to play games with friends, do sports, a great time to get tattooed, or work on a creative project that use heat, like glass blowing or cooking. The vibe for edgy behavior. So Aries, Taurus, Libra, and Scorpio placements are going to be feeling this the strongest. Our Aries house is going to be getting a bit of a boost with Venus moving in there. So look to the house that Aries rules in your chart to see where you might be experiencing this shift. If you have Aries rising, Venus moving into your first house is a great time to get an edgy haircut or to present yourself in a different or new way. If Aries is your fifth house, you may be creatively inspired or a new opportunity for enjoyment might come up for you. If Aries is your 10th house, you might be more active at work or with your career. More people might be coming into your life, more harmony and more beauty, being seen for what you're doing, getting more credit at work. Venus into the 12th house is a good time for travel and a good time for alone time or romantic alone time. So yeah, look at the houses that Aries rules in your chart and look at the house topics and you can see where Venus will show up for you. And so the second aspect we're going to look at this week is on May 3rd, and it's when Jupiter in Pisces sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. And so Jupiter is making its final contact with Pluto just before moving into Aries next week. This is the last bit of Jupiter in Pisces until Jupiter stations retrograde in July. But some sort of hope, inspiration, or expansion working with an established power structure. This is a very productive and helpful aspect. Someone with more power or authority could assist with something you've been dealing with or a vision you have. Maybe you get inspired and have extra energy channeling that Pluto obsessiveness. It's a good aspect for being able to take your power back in a situation involving a power structure, not necessarily at work, but maybe in your family also. But yeah, being able to take your power back and working with the productive flow. The houses that Pisces and Capricorn rule in the chart can give you more of an idea of where this will come up for you, where the themes around power and productivity are showing up. So that's a little sextile to help us out with the shift happening with Venus changing signs. And then we have another sextile to look at right after this. The next day on May 4th, Mars sextiles Uranus in Taurus. Mars in Pisces is sextiling Uranus at 14 degrees Taurus. It's another productive day. Mars is helping us out. Uranus adds to the quality of exciting discovery, maybe a welcome surprise or unexpected progress in some way. We might get assistance, again, confronting something in maybe a unique way or progressing through something that's unique or out of the box or not the norm. It's a very creative time. It's really good for art projects, especially digital projects. Uranus loves that technology. Maybe merging projects, a good aspect to design things. It's also a very good problem-solving aspect. It's a good day to light a candle for whatever you need help with. Get some assistance with the sextile. It's good for working through issues. It's a breakthrough aspect. You may have extra energy, extra anxiety. Actually, I wouldn't say anxiety. I think it'll be channeled into vitality with the sextile. It's a really good time to be active, start a new workout routine. It's a good time to go a different route on a hike or a walk, or try a new yoga class, trying something new, something active, or open yourself up to meeting new people. That could be interesting as well. So we have that sextile on the 4th. And that's between Pisces and Taurus. So we have Jupiter working with Pluto and we have Mars working with Uranus. So we have some productivity happening there. Bless you, Pace. But that same day on May 4th, the sun completes its conjunction with Uranus. And that's very on point for May the 4th be with you. Uranus is so spaceshipy, isn't it? So that's at 14 degrees Taurus, but this indicates possible surprises, unexpected haps, unique topics, or technology being a major theme, a big part of this week's energy. This is when the crescendo happens. Uranus is having its rebirth, its cazimi. It's entering the heart of the sun, the same degree as the sun. And when a planet enters the heart of the sun, it is blessed with some sort of information. When a planet is close to the sun, it is combust the sun, because the sun heats it up, burns it up. It's way bigger than the planet. So we call that planet combust. And when a planet goes into the heart of the sun, the cazimi, it's kind of like the eye of the storm, where it's been pretty rough, pretty toasty, but you get right into the middle, the heart of the sun, and it's like a little oasis, and download some new information, and then you go back out for the rebirth. It's entering the heart of the sun, it's getting blessed, it's getting renewed by the sun. It's a great time to brainstorm, a great time for breakthroughs, major downloads. It's a great time to come up with new plans or projects. It's very forward thinking, the changing of your mental state, new ways to communicate, maybe renewal around our own personal outlaw or disruptor archetype that we have inside, re-meeting our inner rebel and reevaluating its stance. Feeling themes around individuation and autonomy come up. Out of the box or technology related art projects could be birthed as well. This cazimi is happening in Taurus. So the ruler of the cazimi is Venus in Aries, another disruptor who prioritizes authenticity and realness over the usual harmony and beauty. So look to the house that Taurus rules in your chart to know where these topics around freedom, authenticity, autonomy are coming up for you. If you have Taurus in your 7th house, you may be feeling this in your relationship or with clients. If you have Taurus in your 4th house, you might be, maybe something new comes up regarding your family, your home, or your property. A new project arises that's out of the box or different than the norm. If you have Taurus in your 12th house or 9th house, it's a really good time to meditate, because you could really download some good stuff, some juicy deets from the astral. But out of the box, different than the norm, be eccentric. It's a really good time for that. And then the next day, on May 5th, we have another sextile to help us with these shifts with our Taurus house and with our Aries house. May 5th, Venus sextiles Mercury at 4 degrees Gemini, and that is where Mercury stations a couple days later, or 5 days later, I should say. But we love when Venus and Mercury get together in this house. Artistry, creativity, skills, talents, they're all themes. Working on a crafty or artsy or little skill that you enjoy doing or sharing, maybe having to do with a language, maybe communicating something, writing, knowledge. It's a good time for important conversations that need to be really nuanced. This is a time where communication will have a level of ease to it. Words are well received generally, and being able to make your point in a delicate but clear way. This is also an aspect for affection and sweetness, playful togetherness, enjoyment in general, being with people you enjoy, hobbies you enjoy, pastimes, getting in touch with your inner child. It has a very youthful quality, so getting in touch with your inner child, spending time with younger people, or giving yourself permission to do playful things that we usually associate with children rather than adults. Totally the vibe. Mercury stations at this degree, like I said, in 5 days. So Mercury has slowed down, is pretty much stopped. Maybe there are some small hiccups with this with these projects or with this fun. Maybe things need to be extra prepared or ironed out before completing. So just be aware of that Mercury deep in its shadow. With Mercury slowing down, it's a good time to cross your T's, dot your I's, and don't be surprised if you're feeling the Mercury retrograde already. Don't be surprised if there are hiccups. It's the beginning, and it's deep in its shadow, like I said. And then finally, on May 7th, the Sun in Taurus sextiles Mars in Pisces at 16 degrees. And this is another productive aspect for action, progress, understanding, especially having to do with maybe your identity or your choices, seeing yourself separate from the project, but working smoothly with the topics that Taurus and Pisces rule in your chart. The Sun and Mars work really well together in a sextile. They're very effective, very energetic, working in harmony, very warm and fruitful, with a potential for high yield of whatever is being worked on at the time. You may find that you are embracing your inner leader or feeling like a really good and strong leader in your life, checking in with your own ruler or emperor archetype and seeing where you stand there, seeing if you do feel like a strong leader or if you need to reevaluate your relationship with that archetype. But it is very inspirational and constructive and dynamic, gratifying. So very productive and a good time. You may find yourself being a good leader that day or working well with another leader. Some shifts and renewals this week at the beginning of May. We have that Venus changing dignity. That'll be big for the Venus-ruled signs, Libra and Taurus, and those houses in our chart. We also have Uranus Cazimi, so we have some breakthroughs, some downloads, some independence and freedom themes coming up. And then we have a bunch of sextiles that are very productive to help us keep functioning through the week with all these shifts. So, thank you so much for being here. Drop a comment if you have any questions, or are you doing anything relevant, or #astrologergood this week? Please share with me. And thank you again. I'll see you next week.